G'day guys, how are you going? Today we are reviewing the 2020 Toyota Camry SL Hybrid, which is the top of the range Camry here in Australia, and it comes with the coveted hybrid drivetrain that Toyota does actually really well. But is it worth buying the best-selling sedan here in Australia? Well, in today's review, we're gonna find out. Now, as always, we're gonna start by taking a look at the exterior of the Camry, then we're gonna move on to the interior, and then we're gonna see how it drives, and finally, is it worth buying? Now, just a really quick update for the channel as well. We are in the midst of the coronavirus here, and it sucks big time. For the time being, I'm gonna keep trying to review cars every week, but there might be a possibility that I can't. This review should be in about 3 weeks, so right now it's the end of March, so this should come out sometime in late April. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. The front of the Camry is just stunning. I absolutely love the way it looks. You know, Toyota said no more boring cars, and they really did start with the Camry. This is not in any way, shape or form a boring car to look at. This grille is so meaty and so masculine, so sporty. It definitely takes a lot of styling cues from a certain brand called Lexus. Not that that's a big issue at all. In fact, I love the way that the, for instance, Lexus UX 200 looks, and you can watch that review somewhere up there now. You know, car companies are going for that bold look for their grills, their big grills, because it sells, especially in the Chinese markets, and I don't mind it. I really like it. And these lights, these lights, they look so nice, especially at nighttime when you can really see them start to shine. And they have this really cool diamondy effect that you would see on a lot of Mercedes cars. So it's funny to see it here on the Toyota Camry, but it works. It just looks really nice. Yeah, I really like the front. The side, I like it a little bit less. It is just a bit bland. It's like a flat slab of sedan. It's nothing special. Not that there's inherently anything bad with it, it's just a bit boring. These 18-inch wheels, they really don't help the look of the side. They look a bit boring, and to be honest, the huge tire tread on them is just, it's quite ugly. Now, there's a reason that they're huge tire treads, and that's because the more tire you have, the more bumps it can soak up in the road. So it makes for a more comfortable drive, but it just doesn't look very nice. Oh, but then we get to the rear, and the rear is just stunning again. I love it. It's funny because the rear is actually sporty looking. And not that this is at all a sporty car, but it looks sporty. Now, it is no TRD like you get in the US, and boy, I wish they had the TRD here in Australia. And it isn't a TRD. But you still get nice little touches, especially because this is the SL model. So you get the little lip boot spoiler. You get a nice little rear diffuser as well. Again, I'm a massive fan of the lights. They look great at nighttime. And then those fake vents underneath the lights, even though they are quite shameful because they're not real, boy, do they look good. I don't know, it just completes the whole package in the back. Oh, and you get the 2 little exhausts down the bottom because this is the hybrid model. If you got the V6, you get quad exhausts. I really like the back. I really like it. I think overall the Camry is just a beautiful looking car. It is a massive departure away from the old generation that just look like any old sedan. Toyota have managed to make a beautiful looking car, and I also really like it in this red, and there are a lot of really nice colors. There's another white as well that just looks absolutely stunning. It's like a matte pearlescent-y look. I don't even know how to describe it. It's gorgeous. Well done, Toyota. Well done. What do you guys think of the looks of the Toyota Camry? Vote up there now. Do you like the way it looks, or do you not really like the way it looks? I'm interested to know. Now, before we get onto the interior, make sure you go down there, hit the subscribe button to this channel. Obviously, it really helps the channel out, and you get to see cool car content like this. But anyway, onto the interior. Now, as always, I do want to start with what's good about the interior. And because this is a Toyota, of course, the fit and finish and the quality of the materials in here is absolutely fantastic. Almost every wear that you touch is nice, soft, cushy material. It's lovely. It certainly helps to build the fact that this is a full-size sedan. Almost a luxury sedan, like it's that close. And then on the passenger side as well, we have this really interesting trim here that kind of reminds me of a seashell in the way that it reflects light, and it's really beautiful. Seriously, almost everywhere you touch in this interior feels so nice. And you just don't get that on a lot of cars. You really don't. These seats as well are so damn comfortable. They're like lounge chairs. They're just so nice to sit in, especially over longer journeys, which is where a lot of people who buy a Camry find themselves. You have plenty of adjustment in the seats with the electric lumbar support as well. And funnily enough, they're ventilated, but they're not heated, which is weird, right? In any car, you really find heated seats and you rarely find ventilated seats. My guess is that because this is the Australian market where it's a lot hotter in Australia than it is colder, you get the ventilated seats instead. I prefer ventilated seats. I just find it quite interesting. They're made of really nice leather as well. And the way that they're just perforated and the way that they look is really nice. Now, for all of my long-term subscribers out there, you know how much I care about my steering wheel, and this steering wheel is absolutely fantastic. It is what you'll find in every other Toyota out there, but because this is the SL high-end model, you do get a leather wrapped steering wheel and it feels substantial in the hand. Fantastic to hold. But that's not even the best part of it. The best part is that you don't have to take your hand off the steering wheel to navigate around the interior. And what I mean by that is that you can control all the media through the steering wheel. You can control the safety systems. It's really good. The one thing that is doing my head in on this car though, and it's interesting because I don't think this should have passed quality control, the OK button is slightly off center, slightly down there to the bottom left. And I'm really surprised by this because I genuinely think that that is not something that really would have passed Toyota quality control, and it has. Not that that's a big deal, it's certainly not a deal breaker, it's just a print on a button, but still. And that is a perfect segue into what's not so great about the interior, because there's a couple of other bits in here that I'm not quite sure should have passed quality control. For example, the center console lid. It shakes and it wobbles. Very weird. I've never experienced that before in a Toyota. Even worse than that though is this piece of trim next to the gauges. It shakes, it's so easy to move. Again, I've never experienced that in a Toyota. It feels like it doesn't fit very well. And fit and finish is what Toyota is known for. And also guys, this car is brand new. I picked it up when it had 4 kilometers on it, and it's only got 128 kilometers on it now. So I've been the only one driving it, and from day 0, it was doing that. The gauges themselves are actually pretty average as well. I really don't like it. And this is a pretty common theme across all Toyotas. They all have pretty average gauge clusters. It has a 7-inch screen in the middle, but it is really low resolution. It's functional enough. You can't see things like maps like you can in other cars, but you know, it has basic information about the car, some nice infographics actually. But then the speedo and the hybrid gauges are really cheap looking, and I don't like it at all. The heads-up display is even worse. It's really hard to see and it makes you feel like you're having double vision. If there's bright light outside, you just cannot see it at all. It is that bad. But again, it actually is quite functional in what it can show. It shows your revs, which you wouldn't otherwise be able to see in the gauge cluster. Obviously, it shows you your speed, and it's quite large, and it shows you whether you're in the lane or not, and cruise control. So it's functional. It's just, it's hard to see it, and it really does feel like you've got double vision because it's quite blurry. BMW do it so much better, like in the 1 Series that I reviewed, and you can click up there to watch that review. Does it so much better. And then there's the 8-inch infotainment display. It's really quite average. It's the exact same that you'll get on every other Toyota out there, but it lacks behind its competitors. It's quite slow, it's not very responsive. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is good, and really that's all you need. But the graphics on it are pretty basic, and it's just not very nice to use. Let's quickly talk about the rear seats. There is plenty of space back there. It's super comfortable. Exact same seats as what you'll find up in the front, just without the ventilation. And they're lovely to sit on over longer journeys. You get your little armrest in the center, you get your little air vents, and you get 2 USBs. So it's very well appointed, and it helps you see why a lot of Uber drivers go for a Toyota Camry. And then we have the boot. It's 524 liters. It's really big, and it's fantastic. You can get a lot of stuff back there, and if you put down the seats, obviously you get way more space. Now let's get on to the fun stuff. How it drives. So the Toyota Camry actually shares the exact same drivetrain as what you'll find in the Toyota RAV4 that I reviewed, and you can click up there to watch that one. It puts out 131 kilowatt of power from the 4-cylinder engine at the front of the car. Don't know why I said the front, of course it's front end mounted. And then another 32 kilowatt of power coming from the electric motors. So in total, it has 163 kilowatt of power and 221 Newton meters of torque. And that will propel this car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7 11.4 seconds. And that's not bad for a car that is getting 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Although 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers isn't really that great. It's certainly a far cry away from its claim of 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers, like 50% worse. And the whole experience is honestly ruined by the eCVT transmission. For those of you who don't know what a CVT is, it's a continuously variable transmission. It effectively uses pulleys instead of cogs and gears. But anyway, the real inherent flaw with the CVT is that because it doesn't have gears, it doesn't change gears, and when you floor it, it will just stay up at that really high rev range and make a lot of noise, doesn't feel very nice, vibrates the car. It's just not very pleasant. Now, it does simulate gears pretty well. It does have these paddles on the shifter here, and it's pretty responsive, and it really does sound like they're real gears, but they're not. Now, let me put it into sport mode because it has sport, eco, and normal, and I'll put the transmission into sport mode too. And then you'll be able to hear what it sounds like when I floor it, and the ungodly noise that this CVT makes. Not changing gears. But you see what I mean, it makes a lot of noise. And that's not individual to this car, it happens across all CVTs. It's just annoying. Overall though, it does drive absolutely fine, and in day-to-day driving, you just don't notice the CVT is really a bad transmission. What the Camry is good at though is just going over bumps. It is so soft and so comfortable. Like, it is genuinely one of the most comfortable cars I have ever driven. It's just really, really well tuned. The trade-off to it being really comfortable though is that it doesn't take corners very well. There's quite a bit of body roll, and you do move around a bit in your seat. But this is not trying to be a sports car. And because it's not trying to be a sports car, I don't care. I would much rather have comfort in my Toyota Camry than I would sporty, dynamic driving. You still get plenty of kick, but it's not like I'm wishing I had more power or more dynamic steering. I don't care. It's a really nice car just to drive. And it's funny, whenever I get into one of these Toyota hybrids and it has the hybrid gauge, I'm always trying to drive more green. Like, I'm trying to make sure that I'm driving mostly in electric only mode for best fuel economy. And it's just by nature of driving one of these cars. It's like a little mini game in itself. I don't know, it's really fun. So should you buy the 2020 Toyota Camry SL Hybrid? You get a lot of car for your money. You get a very practical, very comfortable, well-equipped car that drives really well and is quite fuel efficient. I think the biggest issue for me is that there is a stigma with the car. It is undeniable that people see this as a taxi car, an Uber car, almost like a workhorse. And it is easy to recommend. For 45,000 Australian dollars, you get a lot of car. And it comes really well equipped. There aren't optional extras in this SL model. You can get paint, sure, but nothing else, which is good. That's a good thing. It comes well equipped. It's that stigma that would hold me back from buying one. I kind of liken it to Crocs. I like Crocs. They're comfortable, they're practical, they're versatile. But would you buy a pair of Crocs and wear them? Probably not, even though they're more practical than your runners. But that shouldn't stop you from buying it. The social pressure can stop me, but it shouldn't stop you. Because for everything you get in this car, you get a fantastic car. You really, really do. So yes, the 2020 Toyota Camry SL is a fantastic car. You get a lot for your money. It does have that stigma. Keep that in mind. But anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new and you'd like to see more content like this. Does it have a stigma or is it all in my head? Let me know down below. And anyway, guys, I'll catch you next time.